Good morning, everyone. We'll start in a seated pose today. And because we've got so many props, you could, for example, sit on the bolster first. I'll bring them to you. So just sit in a really comfortable seat, first and foremost. Feeling into how you land on the softness of the bolster. Sit bones grounding, but feeling supported. Shins and feet. Surrendering towards the earth below. Like planting roots into the soil. And then just notice the spine growing up and out of the strong roots, sitting tall. Perhaps you improved your posture. But then can you soften everything around your frame? Strong and supported frame. The muscles very, very soft, relaxed. You can open the eyes just for a moment to see what the breath awareness looks like. The hands come to heart space like this, and it's like a lotus flower blossoming. So we do an inhalation like this. So it becomes like a bowl. Visualize it really full, and then exhaling fingertips softly together. So you start noticing how fast or slow you breathe as you breathe the lotus flower open, inhaling. And exhaling, closing the flower petals again. If you'd like, you can count the duration of your inhalation. The counting usually brings us back to present. Back into the here and now, into the heart space. If perhaps the exhalation is shorter, you can start elongating it. Still inhaling the same, but just a slightly longer exhale. Good. After your next exhalation, you can press your palms softly together. So you do the symbol of gratitude in front of the heart space, starting with the chant of Om together. If you'd like to join us, inhale for the Om. Good. You can slowly drop the hands. And our first physical pose will be on the blanket. So there's a lot of messy piles that I see. That's the blanket's been just like put in the cupboard. So if you first find it unfolded like so, somehow get into this neat setup first. Then we want to roll the blanket along the long edge. I usually start from the neat edge, so the messy edge can like keep moving away without creating too many folds. It's just a neat, firm, long bolster, a lot firmer and a lot smaller than the actual bolster. Then we lie on it. So it'll go 1/3 of the mat back across the mat. And yeah, he can be front, back, doesn't matter. We'll do both sides. So the widest part of the rib cage is on the blanket with your knees bent and stacked. And I usually just lie on the floor like this. But I know a lot of people also prefer a cushion. So you can either have your bolster or a block under the head if that's the case. Then the movement pattern is as simple as inhaling, rolling the ribs towards the ceiling, peeling the top hand back behind you, and exhaling, coming back to center. You can choose how much you bend the knees. That's just keeping you static in the lower part of the body whilst the top is moving around. Yeah, take a moment to set up. I'll just come around to see if the blanket is in the good position, because sometimes it gets stuck in the waistline and that makes it a little bit too easy. So yeah, maybe for you, we can have it a little bit higher, just so you get a little bit more opening. Yes. So we don't want it snug in the waistline, but so it pushes the rib cage up and creates a proper side curvature. Feel free to close the eyes in such an easy movement. Good. You can now roll onto the other side. Do this at your own pace, really gently, really softly. This is not about forcing an opening, but it's about surrendering to new freedom in the upper back, which is the heart space. We've got 7 bodily chakra centers, energy centers that all resonate in a different kind of vibration. And there are several ways to move energy. First one is what we did at the start, just on your area, focusing on a certain area, such as the hands, which is the extension of the heart space, hands in front of the heart. So it was a heart opening breath work we did. The other one is physical movement. You're now moving around the rib cage, which is the stiffest part of the spine, protecting our heart. Finding more freedom there. You can see or imagine or visualize any walls, any stiffness around the heart softening. The walls that we build around the heart to protect it are the same walls that keep the love away. Good. You can now roll onto one side and press yourself up, and we start climbing up little by little. First into kneeling. You can start in extended child pose. And when you're ready, you can tuck the toes under and lift into your first downward facing dog pose. Feeling into the body, especially the back body. How are the legs feeling this early in the morning? Perhaps you walk out the legs. But you can also move the rib cage around. Little gentle circles, perhaps. Then raise the heels, drop them to the right. Keeping the arms straight, squat your buttocks as close to the right heel as you can. And then lift, pivot, and squat down to the left. Keep moving like this. It's a big side bendy, twisty action through the spine as you keep your upper body static this time. And wrap the lower body around. Big heart opening pose, this one. Good, then you're going to pause in the middle and walk your feet forward. Coming forward into halfway lift. You can have the fingertips on the ground or hands on the shins. Then everyone exhale, flat hands on the ground. Lengthen the back of the neck as you allow the head to hang. And slowly come up. You can now sweep the hands over the head. Hold onto the left wrist. And exhale, side bend to your right. Good, slowly up, swap the hands. Exhale, left. Inhale up and hands down through the midline. Exhale, touch the floor. Walk your hands around yourself like you're trying to hold onto the right ankle or calf. Bring your awareness to your left lower back. Back to center the other way. Good. Come back to center and walk or hop into plank pose. Could be full or kneeling plank. Lower yourself down. Bring the hands wide, coming up on fingertips. Firm the glutes to peel up into wide cobra. Do that a couple of times. You can breath synchronize by pushing the feet down, inhaling, rising high, high striking cobra, and then exhaling, rolling to the floor again. Now you can keep going or add the shoulder drops. So twisting to one side by dropping the shoulder, opening the chest more. At your own pace, as an option. Or you can release and go back into downward facing dog at your own pace. We usually use an exhalation to release and surrender towards that big active stretch as you push through the hands and attempt to ground through the heels. Looks like an upside down V or U shape, but this is up to you. Your legs can be bent, spine can be rounded, it doesn't matter. Seeing where you're at to keep the stretch feeling comfortable. Now, a dynamic and quite heating sequence to move the hips, shoulders, and the spine. Do as much or as little as you want to. Inhale the right leg back behind you into three-legged dog. Then bend the knee and start opening through the hip. Pivot on the ball of the left foot to drop the heel to the left. So you can drop the top foot on the left side of the mat for wild thing, like so, and your top hand reaches to the front. Both hands down. The same right leg wrapping around you. So knee towards the left elbow and drop the foot to the left side of the mat underneath you. If appropriate, peel the left hand up now into fallen triangle. Good. Those are the two poses. So now you can move as slowly or as fluidly as you want to. So it could be like this. You just come into the pose and you go into the next one, moving between the two through the core like that. At your own pace. The foot always goes to the left side of the mat. And it's always the same foot. We're not changing sides. Very dynamic, but can be slow. Everything is invitational in yoga, so you could be in child pose now. If the shoulders are happy but the wrists are not, feel free to drop onto the forearms on each side. Good. You can come back to center. Drop the knees to the floor. And we'll do a little symmetrical pose in between the sequences, the heart melting. Start walking your hands forward, keeping the hips over the knees with the chest coming down towards the floor. Extending through the upper back. Good. Shortening the stance now. Hands slightly closer to you. Slowly, slowly climbing up into downward dog. And we'll do the first round slowly together. Second side. So inhale the left leg back and up for three-legged. Bend the knee to open through the hip. And then start pivoting on the right foot to drop the heel to the right. To drop the foot to the outside of the mat on the right side this time for wild thing. Both hands to the floor. Bend your left knee towards the chest and the right elbow to drop it to the outside of the mat on the right. Option to lift the right hand. Good. Keep flowing. Or take a break as early as you want to. Good. You can pause when you're ready in child pose. Take a little break. Release the air out. And just notice how the body starts breathing again after a more dynamic sequence. Coming into stillness. And you can slowly peel the spine upright and come up into high kneeling. Firm the glutes and bring the hands over the head. And trying to stay in a straight line, exhaling, lean back with the hands coming in front. Good. Keep going like this. Inhale to come up. And then exhale to lean back. You can choose the level of challenge. Of course, if you keep going really low, it starts burning the quads. But it's a nice way to activate the whole front body, which is required in our next pose, the camel. So when you circle your arms back, somewhere onto the hips or the lower back, press the hands down, firm the glutes even more, lift the chest up and back. This could be your shape. Like trying to tuck under. I'm even pushing my hands down along the hips to really tuck. If this feels appropriate, if the heels don't seem too far away, you could drop your hands onto the heels, in which case you can also release your head back. Good. Slowly release. You can even sit down. Or you can come into 4-point kneeling and do some natural movement through the spine, whether it's sideways or some circles. Then pause in the middle. Inhale the right hand up. Exhale, thread the needle. Starting to slide the hand to the left. And do this in movement. Inhaling up again. Exhale down. Inhale. Third and last one, holding. So now you can also send your front hand forward like we did in the heart melting pose. This is heart melting on the left and twist on the right. Good. Slowly back to center. 3 rounds on the other side. When you're ready, inhale the left one up. Exhale, threading through. Good. Keep going. Holding the third one, sending the front hand forward, like you're trying to stretch the right side of the body as you're twisting to the right. Good. Slowly come back. And we go to second round of the camel or Strasana. So you can peel up, rise into high kneeling, hands in high prayer, and start doing the core warm up or isolation or activation. If you were thinking like, yeah, I'm quite close to my heels, but not quite, in this pose, it doesn't matter if you have your toes tucked or untucked. So if you want, you can certainly do that and perhaps then touch the heels. We've got the two blocks. Often a lot of people like them on either side of the feet and to try to do something like this. Good. Slowly sit down. And then start releasing into child pose. Then take your time, but find your way into downward facing dog at your own pace. Tucking your toes under. Use your exhalation to press through the hands. Now you could stay here in a more static stretch or add in a flow. You can slowly move forward into plank or kneeling plank. Lower yourself down. Wide hands up on fingertips, high striking cobra. In this one, you often go a little bit higher, chest opening a little bit more. You can repeat that a couple of times or stay in your downward dog or even drop into child pose as a more relaxing option. Option to do that, twists. It's a little bit more chest opening in terms of a stretch. You don't go so as deep in the back bend, but the muscle that keeps our shoulders looking rounded, like you're trying to protect your heart, like standing in this kind of really common posture, that's pec minor. And we get to that in the twisted cobra. So it's a really good posture improving heart opening sequence. Then when you're ready, slowly release back into downward facing dog. So someone Siri recognized my voice. How is that even possible? Can you say that again? No, I won't. Shut up, Siri. Let's slowly walk to the top of the mat. Full forward fold. And slowly rise up to standing. Again, you can roll through the spine, keeping it really organic. Same on the way down, hands. Head follow the hands. The whole spine just yielding towards gravity, keeping it easy. Inhale, half lift, fingertips or hands on the shins. Exhale, plank. Good, a full-on kneeling plank. You can do the cobra again, but obviously if you have a preferred back arch, you can do a forearm supported pose, for example, the Sphinx, or you can press the straight arms if you like the upward dog, or anything else. Finding a back bend that suits, and then come into downward dog. Inhale the right leg back and up. Bend the knee towards the chest, tiger curl through, and drop the foot between the hands nice and slowly and quietly. And then pivot on both feet as you walk your hands to the left, leaving the toes out, knees bent, rise up into goddess, arms over the head. Here, so it looks like I'm riding an elephant or a fat horse. I'll stay here so the homies can see me as well. Hopefully you can see me. So what we'll do is bring the hands like this in front of the heart. One palm facing up and the other one on top. Now, a little bit of leg work as you breathe in. Separate the hands and straighten the legs. Then pivot your arms or circle them around and exhale, opposite hand on top as you sink down. So inhale to lengthen, becoming taller. Circle the hands and exhale back into the heart awareness, strong legs. Good, at your own pace. So it's like a pranayama, like a breath work exercise. This time you can stay low, but separate the hands. And now start moving your torso as you spin. Imagine you're holding a Swiss ball or big energy ball in front, and you're turning it, twisting to one side, then spinning the ball around and twist the other way. This is what they're doing, Qigong. Strong legs, fluid upper body. Once more towards the back of the room. Next time you're turning towards me, I'll do it the same way as you guys. Pivoting on both feet, keeping both legs low. Take your energy ball towards the right. Depending on what hand is on top, you might have to spin it so that the right hand is on top now. Then lean forward so the forearm crosses the thigh and start stretching both arms away. So the front hand, the top hand reaches towards me, and then the bottom hand, there's some resistance against the leg. Leg is pushing out. Good. Same thing. Slowly coming up. Goddess pose. Turning your energy ball to the left, pivot. Perhaps spin the ball around, but the left hand needs to be on top now. So you can lean forward and your right forearm crosses the thigh, then deepen by straightening the arms, perhaps leaning lower. And you can reach the top hand almost not horizontal, but kind of. So really reaching towards the reception. Good. Coming back to goddess. Then take the arms out. Bend the elbows back. Keep the chest open as you interlock the fingers behind. Then inhaling, straighten the legs, parallel feet, and straighten the arms. Puff the chest up and open. Exhaling, full forward bend. Keep focusing on the back of the heart, squeezing the shoulder blades together to soften, widen, open the front of the heart space. Then you can stay in that forward fold, but drop your hands towards the buttocks, towards the floor, and walk your hands to the top of your mat. Flowing into child pose or downward facing dog. You can go straight away into those shapes or simply do the plank, push up, back bend of your choice. The flow. Nice, good. We'll be coming to the other side, do something a little bit different there. So when you're ready, downward facing dog, stay in child pose for as long as you want to between sequences. So that you can join us when you're ready, left leg rising. Step the foot quietly between the hands. So that's a little bit of effort there, a little bit of firmness to land lightly, and then walk clockwise. Pivot on both feet. Already bend the legs and rise up into goddess. Arms over the head. And we establish the same expansive breath awareness, one palm facing up, the other one on top, and start inhaling, widening the gap, straightening the legs, turning your arms around, and exhale, hands to heart. Good, you know this one, at your own pace. I'll just show you homies before I have to leave the camera, but the next thing is like this, and then doing twists like this. And I'll talk us through it. Okay, I'll join you here so you don't have to twist your necks around. And I'll do it the same way as you. So staying in the goddess, looks like this, fingertips to touch in front of the collarbones. So if you follow the twist to the right, first pay attention to the shoulder blades. Right is in, left is out as you try to touch the right shoulder with your left hand. Good. Then keep that shoulder blade position happening, right in, left away as you reach around, and try to stretch both hands as far to the right as you can and squeeze more to the right. Good, you can still sink into those strong goddess legs. And then come back to center, giving yourself a big hug. So pulling both shoulder blades away from the spine. Reset, fingertips to touch at the collarbones. And then start by twisting from the torso to the left. Left shoulder blade in. Right shoulder blade away from the spine as you try to touch the left shoulder with your right hand. Then straighten the arms. Keep pulling with straight arms all the way to the left. And come back to center with a big hug. Good. You can now straighten the legs as you lift the hands over the head. And bend the legs again as you bring your hands in front of the collarbones again. Now we're side bending towards the back of the room. So you can lift your left elbow and shoulder, then pull the right shoulder and elbow down. And then as you side bend, reach the arms like so. I'll go and show the homies. I'm sure you've got it. Yeah, it started like this, and then pushing the hands away. Good. Come back to center with the hands resetting in front of the collarbones. Start side bending towards me. Left shoulder and elbow down, right shoulder and elbow up, and push both hands to that direction. So big side bend this way. Good. Slowly coming up. We'll do the heart opening forward fold again. So stay on bent arms, bent legs rather, and have the bent arms behind you. Then interlock whilst they're still bent. Now you can straighten the legs, parallel feet, and squeeze the shoulders together. Exhale, full forward fold. Starting to lift the hands away from the back. Drop the hands towards the buttocks and the floor. Then walk your hands to the top of the mat. And again, you can go straight to child or downward dog, or you can do a flow or a couple of flows. Then you can drop the knees to the floor to prepare for the next one. I always need a blanket in this one, but I've seen people somehow muscle through the whole thing without a blanket, but I'll show the very, very comfortable thing. Blanket is now unrolled, so it's a folded blanket again. So there's something soft underneath the pelvis, because otherwise I feel like it can feel too bony, because you might come up to this, so the full body weight is on your pelvic bones, or you might do this and this. So this usually makes it a little bit more comfortable. Just underneath the hip bones, underneath the pubic bone. So we start in Shalabhasana, where you first lift the torso off the ground and the legs by squeezing the glutes. Legs are straight. So first they kind of want to bend. So then drop the feet lower to have your legs really straight. Good. Then perhaps bend the legs, an option to try to hold onto the feet. You can stay there. Or the last thing might be kicking the feet back into a bow shape. Good. Slowly release. And come down for a little break. Perhaps you just rest your head on the hands. You can choose what feels right, especially for the lower back. As you're resting, I'll explain the next thing. It could be exactly what you just did, so that is option one. But option two is the side bow. So what's happening there is when you roll onto the side, you're not squashing. You know when you sleep on your side, you don't want to sleep on the arm. The arm is either in front, or in this case, it's behind you. So you're actually on the rib cage in this one. And when you're on the rib cage, it's like doing this forward fold, but in a back bend. So it looks like this. Actually, I will draw off the blanket if I do that. Okay, so like this, and then rolling onto the side. So see how my both arms stay behind me? And I'm resting on my rib cage, up and to the other side, and you can keep rolling from side to side like that. That's an option, or just otherwise do the static one. So when you're ready, it could be milder or deeper than mine. I just demonstrated like an easy, accessible version. But the key is to somehow roll and slow down your falling. Good. Leaving the shoulder behind. Good. Parshvadanurasana. The side bow. Good. You can take a break. Either just stay on your front, or you can lift up onto 4-point kneeling and or straight to child pose. And slowly curl up. And I will take a moment to construct a really, really lovely setup for another heart opening pose. Some people, I see they just do the bolster like this. It doesn't go where we intuitively think it goes. This is the same as when we did a rolled up blanket and it kind of feels like it goes to the waist because it fits there. This usually fits really nicely in the lower back like this. So we don't do that. We push it a lot higher. So you can like try to guess where the yoga strap would be, or the bra line, or the heart rate monitor just underneath the chest. It goes in line with that. So then your head is also on the bolster like this. Some people go like that, but a lot of people need an extra prop. And you would have to choose how many times you fold the blanket. It's often like this. And that goes under the head. So the head doesn't need to go backwards like that. Head needs to feel level. So a lot of people will need to adjust a pillow so the head doesn't fall back, and then choose what you do with the legs. They could be straight or bent or in cross-legged position. Finding whatever support you want for the legs, but then come into a really supported upper back opening, aka heart opening. In your mind's eye, you can do the visualization of the lotus flower blossoming open on an inhalation. Now, another option for a visualization is really draw your awareness to your rib cage region, the area of your chest and the energetic heart. As you go into that area, look around if you see these really common walls around the heart to protect it, like a defense mechanism. What are they made of? Is it wood? Is it like an armor? Is it metal? And because you've built those walls all by yourself, you know you can go in. So if you find any walls, can you go all the way into your heart with your full focus? Yesterday, when I was doing this meditation, sitting in the sun outside my house, I found that if I tried to open the walls from the outside, it felt a little bit like cracking an egg open when the chick is not ready yet. But if you go in and you're the chick and you start opening, cracking the walls from the inside, softly and gently, at your own pace, in your gentle way, it can happen. What does it feel like in your heart space? Knowing it's safe in there, knowing your full essence lives there. Getting to know yourself better without the protection. Whilst you're resting calmly in your heart space, if anything intuitively pops into your mind that you want to add so that the walls could melt away, or perhaps they already have, and you want to add something to fill that void where the walls used to be, you can invite in anything. Could be the I am presence, could be present moment awareness, could be connection, love, compassion, anything you like. This is our last pose before Shavasana, by the way. So if you desire to stay here, you can, but you can also, at your own slow way, start finding your way away from the props, perhaps, with an option to slide the bolster under the legs and just resting on the ground. And start taking some deeper breaths. Breathing into the belly. So that you can start introducing movement at your own pace. Perhaps it's the feet, fingers, and when you're ready, you can roll onto the side lying position that we started from earlier today, but just resting on the side. Ready? Gently press yourself up into an upright seated pose. Grow tall again in terms of your posture, but remember to soften everything. The forehead, the face, the tongue, chest and the belly. Skin is really soft. Then bring the hands together in front of the heart space, closing the session with an Om together. Inhale for the Om. Om. Stay. Thanks for coming to class. Hope you feel good and more mobile after today. I picked a little card for you. It hasn't got an explanation. So when you look at your card, you might intuitively get like colors, shapes, words, meanings. Or there is a little booklet if you want to come and read your little message afterward. And I've got some warm chai waiting there, so you can come and have a chat. All right. Christina, your card will be, oh, delicious. Oh, where is it? Celebration. And Cody. What's it called? Oh, it's a sacred union. Beautiful trees. Have
Thanks,
a
Jenni.
wonderful rest of the day,
That was so
ladies.
beautiful. Thank you.